my friends, how's it going? It's Ultimus, and we are here again talking more Demon Hunter stuff. I figured since we had been talking Demon Hunter PvP talents, Demon Hunter abilities, and Demon Hunter talent trees over the past couple days, we should just kind of keep it rolling, and I thought now would be a good time to revisit the Demon Hunter artifact tree. We've had a lot more of these talents flushed out with important details like durations, numbers, percentages. A lot of the talents themselves have stayed the same, so they haven't changed at all like we've seen with some of the other talents, at least as of now. But we've had a lot more of the details flushed out, and we have our equip effect on it as well. So, that would be an appropriate time, like I said, just to go over, reevaluate it, and talk about it, especially now that we have more of the abilities and actual talents flushed out, and for us to take a look at. So, here we go. Starting with our equip effect on the main hand, we have Equip. Chaos Strike has a chance to inflict a fell wound, dealing 200% of its damage over 6 seconds. You deal 1% additional chaos damage to wounded enemies. So when you land your Chaos Strike, whatever damage you do initially, it's going to do 200% of that damage over 6 seconds. So while Demon Hunters aren't going to be a dot-heavy class, you know, like the Ferals are with bleeds or Death Knights are with diseases, etc., there's still going to be a couple dots that we have access to. And this is going to be one of them with our artifact weapons. And so I feel like that's 6 seconds is one of those time frames that, depending on the initial damage done, and so the 200% of that damage, that could get very overwhelming very quickly depending on what the life bar is like and what it's at, things like that. Is your burst setup, all that stuff like that. Because 6 seconds isn't a very long time as it is. And I feel like Rend lasts, what, 10 seconds? I feel like I should know that off the top of my head because I play a warrior. I just keep an eye on when it's about to just expire, and then I put another one up. But I really probably should know that. So, I mean, just that feels like a lot of damage into 6 seconds. So, kind of cool that we're keeping up with that fast-paced, very aggressive playstyle with Demon Hunters. It's not a slow burn. It's not a slow rend. It's a very quick. You're taking twice as much damage over 6 seconds as you took initially. So I could see that getting very overwhelming or catching people off guard if healers aren't paying attention. Not to mention, you're getting that added debuff on the target, which means you're dealing 100% additional chaos damage to wounded enemies. So, I mean, on top of that, you're dealing 1% more damage from your other attacks as it is. Which at first, again, doesn't sound like a whole lot, but again, what I'm thinking here, and this is just, again, where my head's at on this one, so I could be wrong. But if Demon Hunter attacks are going to be as fast as they seem they are, that 1% is going to stack up very quickly. If it was 2%, 3%, 5%, 10%, that would get out of hand very, very quickly. And so with Demon Hunter attacks being very relentless and just quick and unmerciful, it seems like that 1% is definitely going to be a significant amount because it's, again, 1% additional damage on every attack. So again, at first, 1% doesn't exactly sound overwhelming or exciting, but I feel like if the attack speed is fast enough, it's definitely going to make a very noticeable difference for sure. Our rank 1 ability here, or our first intro ability, Fury of the Illidari, has changed a little bit. 40-yard range, 1 minute cooldown. We've gotten a little bit of clarity on it. Originally, it was intended or worded to make it sound like these spun around you. But now we're getting something that's very familiar, or very similar, I should say, to the warrior talent Ravager. But this one actually sounds like it's useful. It says, throw your warglaives in a whirlwind of energy, causing 100% plus 100% of chaos damage to all enemies in the area every 0.5 seconds for 6 seconds. So it's not going to be something that just spins around you, but you select the cast point, drop it, and it's going to do that much damage there over the 6 seconds. And 100% of weapon damage on each one still is a decent amount. Because you're looking at, you know, may have 1,297 to 2,409. And the same for both. So, I mean, it's still not a terrible number if it's hitting with both of them every half a second. Again, that's decent. Especially with our mastery, how it's going to do increased chaos damage. It's chaos damage. So, what we're going to be seeing, I think, from this is a decent attack for sure. Balance Blades stays the same. Throw Glaive can bounce to 2 additional targets. So, I think 3 or 4 targets that it's going to hit. I said this in my initial video when we were going over Demon Hunter talents and the artifact tree, and that is my first impression of Throw Glaive when I first read over the talents before any of these videos were made was that, you know, it was going to be kind of a filler ability or a very niche, very situational ability, much like Warrior Heroic Throw was. But the impression that I'm getting is that it is definitely going to be more than just that. It's definitely a little bit more of a core ability, and it's going to be probably our main and very important ranged ability. So it's kind of cool that it's getting a little bit of attention and some good functionality and damage attached to it. So there's that. Moving on to Deceiver's Fury. This was another one that was confusing to me because I still don't remember ever dodging a spell. I don't know if spells can be dodged, but again, they might be able to be. So if anybody can confirm that, let me know. Or is this going to be something that's new to Demon Hunters? I just don't know. But dodging an attack or a spell generates 5 Fury, 10 Fury, 15 Fury. Feast on Souls. Consuming a soul fragment reduces all cooldowns by 5 seconds. This was reduced from 10 seconds, so 5 seconds definitely feels a little bit more balanced. 10 seconds seems a bit out of control, especially depending on how many soul fragments we're actually going to be, consuming. And then Sharpen Glaives. Throw glaive damage is increased by 3, 6, 10%. Critical Chaos. Chaos critical strike damage is increased by 3, 6, 10%. Those stay exactly the same. Overwhelming Power. When Chaos Nova stuns a target, there is a 10% chance that a soul fragment is generated. And 20%, 30%. So that's changed a little bit. Still more opportunities to spawn soul fragments, which is a good thing considering we have this talent now. So again, always a nice thing. I feel like just with how fast Demon Hunter attacks are going to be, if all this stuff procs right and the stars align, it's going to add up to some very quick, very responsive, and brutal attacks for sure. Because if stuff is constantly reducing your cooldowns, you're constantly being able to attack, I just feel like the damage is going to be insane. Like the sustain damage. I don't know how their burst is going to be, but it sounds like just the sustain damage that Demon Hunters are going to be able to put out is going to be unparalleled, at least on paper right now. Chaos Vision. I-beam damage is increased by 5, 10, 15%. We have Unleashed Demons. Reduces the cooldown of Metamorphosis by 20 seconds, 40 seconds, 60 seconds. So that would reduce Metamorphosis down to, what, a 4-minute cooldown, not a 5-minute cooldown anymore. This one has changed a little bit too in that we actually have numbers on it now, which is kind of cool because before it was just 0. So we really didn't know what that was going to look like. So it's really cool now that we actually have a tangible number on here. And a full 60-second cooldown is definitely cool. I almost would like to see it buffed a little bit. 90 seconds, maybe? I don't know. Because 4 minutes still feels like a little bit longer compared to everybody else's cooldowns that we have. Just where my head's at on that one. But they may want to keep it this way just to balance out Demon Hunter damage. Since their sustain is going to be so high, obviously their burst might be even higher if they're getting access to their big cooldowns even sooner. I don't know. But I think it's something to keep an eye on for sure. And I'd be curious and hopeful that people are giving some accurate feedback to Blizzard via the beta. Demon Speed. Fell Rush has no cooldown while Blur is active. That stays the same. Kind of cool too now seeing how long Blur lasts. Pretty nifty. Blur lasts for the 5 seconds. I am curious how this will function with some of the other talents that replace Blur. How that's all going to work out, that's yet to be seen. Obviously, it wouldn't nullify this talent, but I just be probably something to take into account when you're taking those talents that would replace it or reduce the duration of it, all those things. We'll have to wait and see what that looks like in actual gameplay, arenas, battlegrounds, all that good stuff. Illidari Knowledge. Magic damage is reduced by 4, 8, 12%, so still the same on that one. Demon Rage. Demon's Bite damage is increased by 3, 6, 10%, still the same. Contained Fury. Maximum Fury is increased by 10, 20, 30%. So all that's staying the same. It's interesting too that it's specific here on Illidari Knowledge that it's going to be reducing magical damage. Nothing really states about reducing physical damage, though all the dodge stuff and things that we're getting here makes it sound like that's going to be our most reliable form of physical damage mitigation. So I guess that makes sense why then here we would see the magical damage reduction specifically. So we're not just getting blown up by casters. Let's take a look at some of our elite talents here, or the more fancy ones. Rage of the Illidari. When Fury of the Illidari ends, 100% of the damage dealt will erupt in an explosion of fell energy, splitting the damage between all enemies within 8 yards. So that stays pretty much the same, but it gives us a better idea of what this is going to look like now that we know specifically what Fury of the Illidari is going to look like. This is definitely going to be a attack that's going to benefit from mastery. The more mastery you spend, the better this is going to be. Or sorry, the more mastery you get, not spend. I don't know why I said spend. I'm thinking talents. Spend talent points. Sorry. Disregard that. The more mastery you stack, the more effective this is going to be, therefore making this more effective. Since it's going to 100% of the damage dealt will erupt in an explosion of fell energy, splitting damage between all enemies within 8 yards. So this definitely is going to be an answer to some of our AoE situations for sure, but it seems like the kind of attack that you wouldn't want to happen on a ton of enemies. Maybe. Well, actually, no, because the more enemies have there, this is just going to hit more enemies, and they're going to all get hit for 100% weapon damage every half a second, and so never mind. Yeah, so that'd be fine. So yeah, definitely our huge answer to AoE in situations for sure. Let's take a look at Anguish of the Deceiver. Each time I-Beam deals damage to a target, you cause anguish on the target. When Anguished expires, it deals damage based on how many times it's stacked up. So this is staying exactly the same. We still have no info on internal cooldowns, how long that debuff lasts. Does it refresh when you use I-Beam? All that kind of stuff. That's yet to be seen. But definitely gives more reason to use I-Beam for sure. That was another talent, because there's so much still that we don't know, or at least that I don't know. Maybe I'm out of the loop here on this one, and everyone has all this stuff figured out already, and I'm like way behind on the times. But I'm just trying to get a feel for, at least looking at abilities now, what like the core abilities are going to be for Demon Hunters. What's going to be core, what's going to be situational, what's going to be filler, all that kind of stuff. But it definitely sounds like Throw Glaive and I-Beam are going to be intended to be used more often than I initially thought. Whether that's true, it's yet to be seen, but they do sound like Blizzard wants us to be using those abilities maybe a lot more than, again, I initially thought. So, pretty cool. And then last but not least, we have Inner Demons over here, which functions pretty much exactly the same, but we'll read over it again and talk about it a little bit. And it states, it approximately 0.85 procs per minute. When you Chaos Strike a target, you have a chance to unleash your Inner Demon, causing an image of your demon form to crash down on your target, dealing 500% of attack power, chaos damage to all enemies within 6 yards. So this isn't going to be something that's going to proc a demon form transformation. It's just going to be anytime you Chaos Strike, you're going to have that chance to proc a clone or a copy of that form, which is going to smash down, deal the 500% damage to all enemies within 6 yards. So stuff like this can be really cool, again, especially if the visual is really cool on it and if it looks like your demon form. That I think would be really cool to see. And it sounds like it has a fairly... not even really high. I mean, it's quicker than 1 proc per minute, so that's good. But again, I think keeping that at around a minute, or proc per minute, again with 80.85, is good for the amount of damage it's going to deal. Because 500% of attack power is a lot, especially since I'm pretty sure agility scales harder into attack power than strength does. If I remember correctly, and this might be old math, if they've changed the way this functions, and I'm completely wrong, and so disregard this, but I think agility stacks into attack power where you get 2 attack power per 1 agility, as opposed to strength as an even exchange of 1 and 1. Again, that might be old Warcraft math there on that one, but I seem to remember that being a thing. So with 500% of attack power on an agility class getting roughly quicker than 1 proc per minute, I think that's fair. But Demon Hunter's still looking like a ton of fun, especially if the glaives look cool. Let's be real. The glaives have been some of the coolest looking weapons in all of Warcraft history. People still go into Black Temple to get them because they look so sick. Monks love them, Death Knights love them, Rogues love them, my Warrior loves his, especially when it comes time for the Burning Crusade Time Walking Dungeon event. I throw my my Black Temple tier set on and my Warglaives on, and I just go and have a ton of fun. An absolute ton of fun. I love it. Just going in there and playing Fury with them, it's pretty cool. It's one of the most satisfying experiences ever, and so being able to finally play Demon Hunters with the Warglaives and the artifact weapons and all this stuff, it just gets me really excited. And I'm looking forward to trying them out and seeing how good I can get at them for sure. But that's going to do it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Again, I hope you didn't find this to be too cheesy, revisiting some of the artifacts just to kind of keep our information up to date. I hope you guys are as excited about Demon Hunters as I am. They are showing up to be a very formidable class, and I hope they do well. And I hope they find their place in all of raiding and PvP for sure. But that is going to do it for this video. So as always, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't done so already. Still shooting for 500 subs by summer, so if you'd like to help me get there, it's as easy as a simple click, and I very much appreciate your support. For those of you who have subscribed and continue to show your support, thank you very much. It means the world to me. And don't forget to follow me on a couple of the different social media platforms that we have going on here. You can find my Instagram up top, where I post fairly regularly, and mostly other things other than just YouTube stuff, so keep that in mind. And of course, you can follow the Facebook page for this channel and my Twitter account, where I post links to the videos I post every day, as well as respond to you guys and your comments and your requests. Love hearing from you guys. But that's going to do it for this one. So thanks for watching, guys, and I'll catch you next time.